This one should be easy. Don't go away. Hello everyone and welcome to Fat Guy Productions. I'm Paul, coming to you as always from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. Today's Three Blind Mice casting is one that I picked as it has a backstory. This is the car I had my first car accident in. I thought it would be fun to do a car for my life, but this simple build ends up giving me a really tough time. So let's get to it. So, here is my car, still in the box. I still have a soft spot in my heart for the Caprice. My plan going in is to replicate the front right fender damage from my accident back in the late 70s. Out of the box, the car is already the same color as our car was, so there's no need to disassemble and paint it. This is a decision that's going to come back to haunt me later. I break out my rotary tool and chuck up a grinding bit, and then I go ham on the fender and bumper. Flying Valiant did a cool trick to make a damaged fender, and frankly I thought about doing that, but the accident was really minor and not too much damage, so I thought this would be enough. In addition to the damage on the fender, I wanted to detail this car out for a few reasons. One, to make it look cool. Two, because it would be fun to do. And three, so this wasn't the shortest, most boring video in history. So I'm going to start by taking some panel liner and fill in the details on the grille. Next, I'll paint in the marker lights. For that, I'm going to be using some Tamiya transparent red and transparent orange. I'm painting before detailing the damaged fender in case I need to alter things from the damage later on. Honestly, the car is looking pretty cool, but for a video, I'm really starting to have my doubts about this whole project. Illinois is a rusty state. So there's no way on earth this damage didn't have rust on it an hour after the accident. So I'm going to break out my AK Interactive oil brushers in rust color, and I'm going to apply that and then let it set. After giving the rust colored oil paint a chance to dry, I'll moisten a brush with some Turpenoid and blend the color in to give it a more realistic look. What you've seen so far was my original plan, and honestly it should have been the end of this story. But I hated it. I felt like I had done nothing to the car and it didn't really tell a story. So I stopped, went back, and gave it some more thought. I sat and I thought about the car that I remembered and the time that I remember it in. I had my accident at the tail end of winter. While it wasn't snowy that day, I clearly see in my mind's eye the car under snow. So I now have a new plan. I'm going to do a snow vignette. With the additions to my project complete in my head, I decided to forge ahead, only to have my hopes and dreams dashed when I found out the car has no driver and no passenger side windows. Damn it. I really felt cornered. My snow plan was falling apart and I hated where I was at. So I decided to make the snow thing work out no matter what it would take. To do that, I was going to have to go all the way back to the beginning and take the car apart so I could make and install windows. I drilled the car apart like I normally would have in an everyday build, all while kicking myself in the keister for this seemingly failing plan. I'll drill and tap the posts so that I can screw the casting back together when I'm done. I have to be honest. I mentioned earlier I still have a soft spot in my heart for the Caprice. Well, I'm quickly losing that in this build because it's really roughing me up pretty good right now. I really hate when I can't muck out in my mind what it is I want to do with a car. But it's even worse, times 100, when it's a car that you picked and you planned for. So the car is apart, the posts are drilled and tapped, and I'm ready to move forward. So now I can make the windows. While I'm sitting here looking at the car, trying to figure out how I'm going to do these windows, I kind of decided that the fender needed to be a bit more damaged. So I break out a pair of pliers and I'm kind of bending some of the body a little bit, and then I'll take the grinder and hit it up a little bit more. While I was doing all of that, I came up with a plan for the windows, and for them I'm going to use some clear packaging. I cut a slightly oversized window shape for the two windows, and the original window glass has an overhang that's actually going to help hold the windows in place. With the pieces ready to go, I do a quick test fit, and then I'm going to fix them in place with a couple of small drops of window glue. With the car back together, I'm actually starting to feel like this plan may actually come together. I head over to the paint booth to give the car an Illinois winter look. I mask off the windshield with some tape so that when I do this, it will leave windshield wiper marks. So I took a little Tamiya thin tan paint and I'm just misting it over the entire car. I'm really going to pay close attention to the bottom of the car and the tires. This is really working out well, and it's giving the car that dirty, wintry, slushy, snowy feel that I'm looking for here. I'm going to make a base from some high-density insulation foam. This stuff cuts easy with just a sharp razor knife. I'll use the car to get a size, and then I'll just go ahead and cut the shape out with my razor knife and a ruler. After getting the base cut out, I just briefly sand the sides, and then I'm going to take my brass bristle brush and just rough the top of it up a little bit. Now I'm going to use a little bit of Vallejo paint, and I'm just going to paint the base an asphalt gray color and let it dry. While it's not going to matter much here because most of this is going to be covered under snow, people tend to think of asphalt as being black when in fact it's more of a gray color. Might be a little bit darker than I'm putting down here, but like I said, in my case, it's not going to matter today. I'm going to do a quick test fit to determine the best arrangement for the car on the base, and once I'm happy with that, I can make it snow. For the snow, I'll be using some hairspray and snow micro balloons from AK Interactive. A word to the wise, wear a mask when working with micro balloons. I didn't think of it, and I've been coughing for 2 days. From directly above, I mist the model with a coating of the hairspray, and then I dust it all with the micro balloons. I'm going to repeat this a few times until I get the look I'm after. When I finally stop putting micro balloons down and look at what I've done, I'm actually blown away. Early in the build, I could have never imagined this would come out so cool. Well, there you have it, my snow-covered Caprice. I look at it and I really do see my life growing up in Wooddale, Illinois, and all of the adventures of a young man finding his way. I hope you loved the build and the video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up, click subscribe, and be sure to click the notification bell. That's it for today. Just remember, sometimes you'll never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. Until next time, this is Paul from Fat Guy Productions saying be good.